Okay, thank you for clicking on our live stream. Now, before we start the show, I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach, by the way. You see these shows on social media all the time, and it's like, hey, watch our show so we can sell you something. We're not doing that here. This show is for the Idea Collective Small Business Incubator, and we want to give you something to help you grow your business and make it bigger and better. Okay, so no bait and switch, no offers, nothing weird, but it doesn't come for free. You have to stop moving for a second and dig into today's conversation, which is how to build your business by doing good, by giving back, right? It's something we all want to do. So that's our deal. We're not going to sell you nothing. We're going to have a great conversation. And your deal is you're going to stop for a minute and you're going to be a part of what we're talking about. Deal? Deal. Let's start. Here we go. Seemingly everybody wants to build their small business by giving back, by doing a charitable good deed. It's a component that many of us would consider success when we have a couple of extra bucks in our pocket that we could give money to a cause that we believe in. But some businesses have hardwired giving back into their DNA. It's not just a marketing strategy, it's a part of who they are. It's something that makes their business bigger and better every time they do it. It seems to me that that is the ultimate expression of how you could build a business with giving back as a part of what you do. So today's conversation is with someone that's done just that. How can you take a fresh look at giving back as part of your business strategy? Welcome to Idea Collective Live. This is our chance to tell you about the Idea Collective Small Business Incubator and how we bring people together for collective intelligence, inspiration, and transformation. I'm your host, Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. So on this show, we are live on all of our platforms. We are looking for your questions, comments, and sarcastic remarks while we learn from today's guest. Our guest is Jeff McCarthy, Vice President and Marketing Director of Bank 59 in Oconomowoc. Jeff, it's a great topic today. How are you today, my friend?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited to have this conversation because I think it really aligns with a lot of the folks in the Idea Collective. They all want to do good with their business, and you're doing it right now. So let's talk about the mission of Bank 59. I think we got to set the table first. So what is the mission? Because when people think banks, no disrespect, people don't really think about doing good every minute of the day. But I know that's part of what you do. So what is the mission of Bank 59?
Yeah, Pat, you're absolutely right about the way people think about banks. And we actually rewrote our mission statement probably about 2 years ago now. And our mission statement previously sounded like a lot of other banks. It was things about exceptional customer service and the right products and solutions and positive return for investors and that kind of thing. And sure, that's what we do, just like every other bank. But our mission, the why we come to work every day is bigger than that. And we thought about not only what our products and services do for our customers, but all of our community involvement, our charitable giving. And at the end of the day, you ladder all that stuff up into one thing. And what's it all about? Well, our mission here is to make lives better. So that was simply it. Make lives better. We like make lives better because one, it is what we do. Two, it's our compass for everything that we do moving forward. And three, literally three, it's 3 words, right? A mission statement doesn't do anybody good if you can't remember it, or if it's just a phrase up on a wall in the lunchroom somewhere that people walk by every day and never pay attention to. Our mission statement is 3 words. Every employee knows it, can recite it back to you. And again, they live it every day. So make lives better. That's our mission.
And if you ask someone what the mission statement of a bank usually is, it's make more money.
Right.
So can you just talk for a second about getting that mission statement all the way through to all sectors of the organization? Because it sounds like the type of thing that people would say they do and not really do, but you actually do it. So was there resistance to put out in the public, listen, we're a bank, but we're a bank to make lives better? How did that go?
I guess I'm very fortunate because at this organization, it didn't take a whole lot to get that through, believe it or not. That's certainly a reflection of the leadership here at the bank and all the employees. It truly is a reflection of what we do and how we do business. We could make more money than we do. We could take all the money we give away in charitable giving and keep it for ourselves. but that's not how we do business. And there are reasons why we believe our community support, our volunteerism, all that is very important. But yeah, it wasn't real hard to get that through. So I feel very fortunate to work for an organization that really has that as its guiding light.
In the Idea Collective, almost all of us are solopreneurs or with very small staffs. And we have this aspiration that we want to do good and we want to make an impact with all the hard work that we're doing every day. So let's take our focus off of the bank for a second and let's learn from what you've built. Let's talk about how we can get active to use giving back as a business strategy. So from a strategic perspective, beyond helping the people, which is great and it makes everybody feel good, why is it important to have that strategy, like that action as a part of your strategy to grow the business? So the strategic benefit of having charitable giving as a part of what you do, why is that important?
Yeah, I think you have to start by looking at what the product or service is that you offer and who your customers are and what would help them either give you business or give you more business, right? So for us, the philosophy really is that strong communities are good for our business. When I look out here at the main street here in Oconomowoc and it's a thriving business community, other businesses want to come and be part of it. And those businesses are going to need loans and they're going to need deposit accounts and that kind of thing. When there's a thriving business community here, the neighborhoods around here get full and people need houses and they need checking accounts and they need savings accounts. So for us, we really want to support our local communities and make them as strong as we can. It's good for, again, it's good for business. It's also good for recruitment. We're headquartered here in Oconomowoc, and Oconomowoc isn't necessarily a place that everybody wants to come work. But when you come interview here, when you come explore the neighborhood around our building, and there's restaurants and there's bars and there's things to do after work, people really start looking at us and saying, wow, that is a place I'd like to spend my days and maybe my Friday nights after work and that kind of thing. So for us, again, aligning with our goals as a business of providing all of those products and services, it's easier to do when the communities that we're serving are thriving and they're attracting more businesses and attracting more residents. So that's, again, kind of why for us, giving back to those local organizations is so important and really benefits us strategically.
I think we have to make sure that restaurants like Badger Burger are thriving, Jeff. I think that's really important. And yes, that's an endorsement if you haven't been yet.
I am personally doing my part to make sure that they're thriving.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Okay, so let's take your knowledge and the things that you've learned and apply it to someone that's watching. So if someone is trying to figure out who to give to, what to give, how to structure it, what would you recommend for a small business owner to think about? Like for you, it was pretty simple. We're a bank, and if there are thriving businesses and communities, they need a bank. So if I'm a small business owner and I want to realize who should I give to and how do I start, where would you recommend that they start?
Yeah, again, I think it really goes back to your mission as a business. And it's a little bit different as an entrepreneur or solopreneur. The mission of your business may align with your personal mission and the organizations that you want to give back to, but it may not. So really have a good understanding of, this is going to sound a little selfish, but the organizations that can help you grow your business by supporting them, right? So for us, there's four major categories that we give financial support to, or organizations that we give support to. They either fall under education, health and human care, civic and cultural, or housing and business development. So right off the bat, if an organization doesn't fall under one of those four categories, they're eliminated from consideration. The second criteria then that we have is that they have to be a local organization. So for example, we don't give money to the American Cancer Society. American Cancer Society does great work, but they are a national organization. We support the Pro Healthcare Walks for Cancer right here in our local communities, helping research and patients here in the communities that we support. So that aligns with our business mission, right? We are a local community bank. We are not a national bank. We don't want to be supporting organizations that are benefiting people throughout the country. We want to support organizations that benefit people here in our local communities. And again, it's about making those communities strong that we serve. So it's really finding those organizations that by them being successful down the line, it helps you and your organization be successful as well.
So to take that just with an example, let's say you run a company that offers technology training, and there is a program that helps high school kids learn about technology and might spur their interest in it. You could be a charitable sponsor of that organization to help kids get interested in what you do. And it's not necessarily help them grow so you make money, but you're at least investing in something that is in your small business sector. Am I reading you correctly?
Yeah,
That way?
that's absolutely correct. And it's not just necessarily financial support either, right? It's volunteerism as well. Maybe there's opportunity for you to go and speak to the students, to offer a training or an internship or that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, down the line, you're making connections with possibly future employees or future business partners, that kind of thing. So of course, you're doing good by supporting the students, but in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, these are students that a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, might be the people that can come work for me or that I can partner with and solve the next big technology problem.
Yeah, that's a very well put. Thank you for that. All right, so we're all going to look at Jeff. If you're watching the stream right now, look at Jeff. Don't look at me. I know it's hard to look away because I'm so devastatingly handsome, but look at Jeff right now. Look at Jeff. We're looking at Jeff. Hey, Jeff, what's the difference between saying you're for something and actually doing it? Because I know there are a lot of banks that run around saying, hey, we're the local guys, and they don't do squat. How can you tell if a business who says they're about something is actually living up to their statement? Because no one wants to make a claim that's fake.
They show up. That is the difference, right? It's really easy to write a check and to get your logo on something. Mm-hmm. That's the easy part. You know, Pat, I could write a check and get my logo behind you. No problem.
Right here. Right there. We love you.
But, you know, so for example, and a lot of the people part of the Idea Collective incubator know this, you know, you run a retreat every year. You started it this past year, and we were the presenting sponsor of it. Pat, we didn't just write a check and put our logo up on the screen, right? We showed up with 6 people. We were there all weekend. We were interacting with the attendees, and we've made some really great connections where I believe we're helping some of your attendees solve some of their banking and finance problems. So it was really mutually beneficial for your attendees and for us to be present and on site. And that's the difference. When we actually have a requirement, when we get a request from a branch or a branch manager to support an event in their local community, the first question we ask is, well, are you going to be there? And if the answer is no, we don't support it. If the answer is yes, chances are we will. Because again, we're full of banks in this market. A lot of banks do a lot of good writing checks and supporting things, and there's a place for that. Not a lot of them show up and participate, and that's what we're all about, and that's the difference. So to that point, if you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, you only have so many hours in your day, right? So I would narrow your focus in this arena and not support everybody possible, but support 1 or 2 where you can support them financially, but also be involved and be present, because that's going to be the bigger bang for the buck.
I think we should harken back to what you did for the Idea Collective retreat in November, because it was really special. Jeff's army did show up, and we're not talking like, and no disrespect to these team members, the assistant janitor or teller, like vice presidents, heads of banking, big wigs came down over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and they met the entrepreneurs that are in the incubator and really showed up to help and get to know these people. It was really impressive. And then we didn't know they were going to do this, ended up giving us 10 different checks. Was it $500 a check, Jeff? Is that how much it was?
5 different $500 checks.
5 different $500 checks to organizations that our members believed in. That is showing up. So kudos to you for that. Now, we are live on all of the Idea Collective incubator platforms. So if you're watching and have a question on how maybe you could learn something from Jeff about bringing purpose and a charitable mission into your business, drop it into the chat and we'll include you in the conversation, because that's what we're here to do, is learn from the collective intelligence in the group. And that definitely includes Jeff McCarthy from Bank 59. So when you start this, let's say we find a mission that is supporting our vertical, or at least something we believe in as a person or a business. We're showing up, we're really putting in the work. Maybe we're making a financial contribution. How do you know when this strategy is working? Because it's easy to say we're going to do something. It might be tougher to listen for the signal coming back that it's actually starting to make an impact. So how do you know when this is starting to work?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things to think about it. And one is a little uncomfortable. It makes me even a little uncomfortable, but you have to ask for credit, right? So when you're giving this much time and financial support to an organization, it's okay to ask them for some credit for what you're doing. And it can be as simple as they're posting things about you in their social media feed and telling their followers about it. If they do newsletters, you want to be part of that. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that they are promoting your involvement, because part of what you're doing through this is expanding your reach and expanding your awareness. So a good partner, and Pat, you do this wonderfully. Look at my logo right behind you there. People know when they tune into one of your shows or they interact with you that Bank 59 is a sponsor of everything that you're doing. And that means a lot to us, because even though we're larger than most of the companies that you work with, we still have a limited budget. We can't support everybody. So the ones that give us shout outs and help tell our story to their followers, really, really important. That is something that is really powerful for us. And then, just always be evaluating whether you're getting kind of that two-way street back from them. And if you are, what's going to start happening is you're going to run into people who say, hey, I saw you guys. Hey, I heard of you guys. Hey, my friend was at this thing and they saw you there and they gave this check. And that's how you know it's starting to work, right? It's not something where you're going to go, again, the high school class. You're not going to go to the high school class and the next day get 3 more customers. That's not the way it works. It's the long game. It's building your brand and helping people understand that you're not just selling this thing. You are selling this thing, but you're a company with a mission that's supporting the local communities and helping this organization and that organization do their thing. And when you start getting that feedback from people, that's when you know you're starting to make that difference.
So if you're watching this, you're still with us, and we're talking about how to invest in your brand in the future by investing in other organizations, making charity and giving back a part of your business, and making a good business strategy. Thank you for investing in your company and for joining us on this conversation. It's just too easy to drive by social media, watch for what you can get out of it, and bounce. Hopefully, we're starting to get you to think about how you can do this for your business, or to do it bigger and better. So we talked about how do you know if it's working. I'm curious about any tangible examples that you can draw to of it worked. This happened because of what we do, or I can draw a straight line between investing in the Lions Club and having this happen. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you think of any specific examples of making lives better and this was a business benefit that came out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I can. And, I'll go back to, the how do you know if it's working thing. For a lot of your entrepreneurs, they sell a service that maybe people aren't ready for right in the minute, right? Banking is not something most people just change on a whim. So my job, and part of why I love our mission and the involvement we have, is that I need to be in your headspace so that when you are thinking about making a change in your banking, we come to mind and you like what you've heard and you like what you've seen all along. And when you have that banking need, Bank 59 is part of that consideration set. That is a win for me. And really specifically a win, Pat, one of the organizations that we supported at your retreat was called Bridge Builders. And Bridge Builders is working to basically improve housing and single family housing options in the inner city. And they have a really unique model. We just had a call with their executive director, and we're looking to expand our partnership with them and hopefully provide some banking services to their participants. So not only is Bridge Builders helping people get into homes, but we're looking to help support them getting them into the right checking products, mortgage products if they need, and provide them with some housing counseling. So again, it's not just writing the $500 check and going away. It's helping support their mission and getting their followers to interact with us as a financial institution. So really early in the process, but that's one example of, again, kind of a win that we're hoping comes to fruition.
Congratulations on that. That's awesome. Now we're going to go completely the opposite direction. When you see interviews like this, usually it's like, wow, Jeff, tell us how great you are and why you're great. You sure are great. Everything's great. You even smell nice. Like everything's wonderful. Very rarely do they get asked, okay, what mistakes have you made? What have you tried that didn't work? Because sometimes we can learn from other people's failure. So not to put you on the spot or anything, but have you made any toe stubs along the way that maybe we can learn from and avoid?
Yeah, and I'll say this, and I think about this in anything that we do. Any toe stub is a learning opportunity, right? So I never look at it as a failure. I look at it as an opportunity to get better. But this really goes back to what I said earlier about involvement. We recently supported a civic event in one of our communities. We gave them a check to sponsor the event, and our local branch showed up and participated, and attendance was much less than we were anticipating. The branch didn't really gain anything out of it and basically came back and said, this was kind of a waste of our afternoon. Okay, lesson learned, right? We are not going to support that specific event moving forward. We're going to look for other opportunities in that market to get exposure and support them. So that was one where I felt like the organization didn't hold up their end of the bargain. We held up ours. But again, learning opportunity, right? Getting to understand the organizations a little better, what they deliver, and then by showing up, you learn if the organization's really keeping their end of the bargain. And so if our branch hadn't been there, we wouldn't have known. Because you hear from them, oh, everything was great. It was a wonderful event. And my team says, there really weren't that many people there. It wasn't worth our time.
And I think this is, I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to jump in.
I was just going to say, so again, that's the power of showing up, making sure that you're getting the value for your dollar. Because again, we all have limited dollars, right? So make sure that the money you're giving them to support their mission is actually being used the way you expect it to.
And I think I want to validate something with you. If you're a nonprofit, okay, you're an organization trying to make lives better, and you're the type of person that has to call a company like Bank 59 and talk to a person like Jeff, I want you to hear me very clearly, and please validate this, Jeff. Exposure is great, but if you don't follow through on your promises or you overinflate what you're going to deliver, you'll never get bought again.
Yes.
So here's what we're going to deliver. Here's the real size of our email list. Here are the ways we're going to put you in front of our fans, followers, and sponsors. And it might be small. I mean, the Idea Collective Incubator is not the biggest in the world yet. But you've been a part of what we've been doing for a year, and I'd like to think it's partially because we give you real numbers on paper, on purpose, and we always over-deliver. How important is having that no BS list of exactly what you're going to get when you decide to give someone your money?
Yeah, it's critical. So for us, we have a charitable giving committee meeting once a month where we evaluate all the requests. And believe me, when we get that packet and that request from an organization, oftentimes what they will include is the different sponsorship levels and what you get for those dollar amounts. And we look at that. We go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And a lot of times it's evaluating the $1,000 sponsorship versus the $5,000 sponsorship with exactly what the differences are in terms of what we're going to get as a sponsor. And I'll tell you what, if we show up and we're not getting what was on the menu that we bought, that leaves a sour taste in the mouth, and it questions whether or not we're going to support them again in the future. So, Pat, you're absolutely right. I would rather have you under-promise and over-deliver than over-promise and under-deliver.
Oh, yeah. I'm the king of that. What are you going to get? Maybe some stuff. And then you come in, there's a marching band. Like, always over-deliver. You got to do that. Even if you're small, it makes a big difference. And the last thing I'll say about nonprofits, and I'm curious if you would agree with this. I think nonprofits undersell to sponsors what they have to offer, because nonprofits have an emotional bond that businesses often don't. And sometimes nonprofits call up and say, boy, Jeff, I'll make you the supreme commander of the planet. You can present my entire thing and it'll cost you $2.
Right.
when in reality, the value is way higher, and you're evaluating a media buy on traditional media or social media, and then this charitable thing. I think, as a general rule, and I don't know if I'm bursting your bubble here, that charitable partners on the whole, they could ask for more money than they do. Would you agree with that?
Some of them could. I think some of them overestimate
Okay, that's fair.
what they deliver, to be honest with you. And you do this long enough, and you kind of get a sense right off the bat of whether they're in the ballpark or not.
Right.
But I'll give credit where credit is due. We're working right now with a gentleman named Rob Molterer, and Rob is the local, I believe, executive director for Walk MS, and he's putting together the walk in Brookfield. And before he ever gave me a proposal, we got on the phone and he said, Jeff, what's important to you guys? What does a successful event look like for you? What do you guys want from an event? And we had that whole conversation before he ever put anything in front of me. Well, guess what? When he finally did put something in front of me, it was exactly what I was hoping to see out of a proposal. And we're now going to be the presenting sponsor of that event coming up in May in Brookfield. So that, if there's any people from nonprofits listening, I would take that as a really important lesson. People appreciate when you're asking them for sizable amounts of money. They appreciate the opportunity to give some input, and you can tailor an event specifically to your sponsor. It doesn't take that much more effort, and you're likely to get more money from them if you're delivering exactly what meets their business needs.
Speaking of events presented by Bank 59, the Idea Collective Retreat coming up in November, we've got some news we're going to break on that in a second, but we've got a question that we want to include from someone that's watching. And if you are ready to ask a question or two, drop it in the chat, because we want this to be a discussion with someone who's doing it in real time. In living color, Bank 59 is making giving back a part of their business strategy. But Eric wants to know, giving back to the community by different companies can blur together from one company to another. What have you found is the way to give Bank 59's outreach or input a memorable personality to stand out from the others? Great question, Eric.
Yeah, there's two things. One is at a certain level, usually at a presenting level or a higher level of sponsorship, we require category exclusivity. So, for example, the Walk MS that I just mentioned, we were very upfront with them about that if we're going to be the presenting sponsor, we don't want any other financial organizations there. And they were willing to give that to us. Because exactly to that point, if we're going to give you several $1,000s to show up and we're one of 7 banks there, that doesn't do us any good. And so we do require that exclusivity. And if somebody isn't willing to give that, we may still support the event, but it's typically going to be at a much lower level, because I don't want to be one of 7 banks on the t-shirt. I want to be the one. And then item 2 is kind of what we've already talked about. It's showing up, and it's not just showing up with one person kind of hanging out in the background. It's showing up with the team, and it's showing up in, for us, when we do community events, it's these red t-shirts that have our logo big on the back. And when you see, 5, 10, 15 people there from Bank 59, all in the matching shirts, kind of our army of people, and they're engaging and they're interacting and they're participating, people walk away saying, wow, Bank 59 gets it. And they're not just putting their name on it. They are here, they're participating, they're involved. So that's what really helps us separate from others, I believe, in how we approach our charitable giving program.
We're going to talk about the retreat in just a second. We're going to reveal the dates and talk about it. But I'm curious, and it feels weird to ask this question out loud, but I really want to know, we're a small business incubator. We're trying to help businesses grow. Why are you supporting the Idea Collective?
Couple of reasons. One, it goes back to what I said right at the beginning, is we believe strong communities are good for our business, and a thriving business community is certainly a big part of that. And Pat, we recognize, I think what you recognized as well, is that there's not a lot of support out there for the local entrepreneur. It's hard. And I said this when I went on your show at the retreat, and I'll say it again here. We can't have more respect for the work that local entrepreneurs are doing and the courage that they have to possibly quit a comfortable job and go it alone and dive into that end of the pool. Personally, it's not something I could do. So I have such respect for those that do. Pat, I'm so conservative, I could never do it. And so for us, it's like, okay, how can we support these businesses? Certainly it's by offering great products and services, and we do that. But when you open an account with us, you don't need a toaster, right? You need support and you need help. And that's why we give our small business customers the opportunity to be a member of the Idea Collective Incubator, because we realize that they need that support and that help. And sometimes it's from their banker, and sometimes it's from somebody else. So again, just being able to support them at a ground level and offering them the help that they need so that they grow and thrive, and then our communities grow and thrive, and everybody wins, to us, that is so much more impactful than other things that we could do.
And I think we need to go back to that. First of all, thank you for your support. We literally could not be where we are now without the support of Bank 59. There are two ways to get involved with the Idea Collective Small Business Incubator. It starts with the free Facebook group, and that link is on the screen. So if you're just kind of interested in business, you don't want to make it as hard as it's been. You need to find your people that understand the journey that you're on. Join the Facebook group. It's free. We're having conversations like this. We're chatting with one another all day. Hey, I need someone to help me with the thing. You post that in the group and people rush to your aid. That happens. But then when you're ready, you can step over into the premium Idea Collective Small Business Incubator. And that's where all of the collective intelligence, inspiration, and transformation lives. That's where the big stuff is happening. Daily shows like this, idea generation sessions, celebrations, night schools. It's really something great. And Jeff was alluding to the fact that you don't need a toaster, you need a membership of people that get it. Can you talk a little bit about someone that might be interested in becoming a premium member of the incubator, how they start that conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly they can contact you directly and become a member. But for us, if you're looking for a new banking partner for your small business, I encourage you to talk to one of our bankers. Her name's Morgan Dornfeld, and I know she's a member of the group as well. She's easy to find her contact information. But if we find a good match and you believe that we're a good banking partner for you, and you open up your small business checking with us, we'll give you a membership into that premium group. Again, if your business succeeds, that's good for us. That's what we want out of all of our small business customers. And we believe the Idea Collective Incubator is just that tool that can help you continue to grow and thrive. So it's our pleasure to offer our customers that access. And Pat, congratulations again on all of your success, because I know you're making a difference in the lives of these folks. And it's not just you, it's everybody in the community working together to lift each other up. And we're proud to be a part of it.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. It's a virtual group, 362 days a year. And then for 3 days a year, it's an in-person group. And that is our family reunion called the Idea Collective Retreat, happening in 2022 in November. So let's talk about that real quick. Get on the calendar right now, November 10th through the 12th. November 10th through the 12th. We're going to go back to the Grand Geneva Resort because it was unbelievable. We're booking talent right now. Our call for speakers are going out soon. It's going to be something special. So stay tuned to the Idea Collective group and keep your ears open, because tickets are going to go on sale later in the spring. And our partnership with Bank 59 is so important to make that happen. It's something we're really excited about. And Jeff, I think we have to play Family Feud again this year. You think that's a thing, right? We should do that, right?
Oh my gosh, that was absolutely a thing we need to do again. Oh, I will tell you, if you missed the retreat last year, you do not want to miss it this year. Not only are you going to learn something, but you're going to have a ton of fun. It is well worth the time to get down to Lake Geneva, and my gosh, the Grand Geneva, it's a wonderful place to spend a few days. So yeah, can't wait to go again this year.
I do think we might have to go down and play golf. I mean, walk through the resort again, though, just to make sure it's up to par. No pun intended.
Well, by June or July, it'll be 6 months since we were last there. So I think that would be a great time to go.
All of those changes we need to review for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to put my logo on it again. I need to make sure it's delivering. So
you got to know, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed the conversation today as we talked with someone that's out there doing it. They've got giving back as part of their business strategy. Few people do it as well as Bank 59. Jeff McCarthy, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Pat. Good to see you.
All right. So hopefully you've seen a little bit as to why we partner with them and how they align with what we're trying to build. And hopefully you got something out of the conversation, because having a great reason to be and a great method to give back can really help you grow the business and get more meaning out of what we're doing every day, because doing the job just for the money, that's not going to carry you all the way that you want to get to. So thanks, Jeff, for coming on, and thank you for your support of the Idea Collective. So just to hit it one more time, if you're interested in building a business and you want to take it as far as it can go, we offer a free Facebook group. Links on the screen. Would love to have you in the group. And then when you're ready, you can graduate to the Idea Collective Incubator. And if you want the support of Bank 59, you could get that as well. But it's something we're really, really excited about. And we figure that there are enough groups out there helping tech startups. We're going to be the group that helps grow small businesses. We're talking flower shops, photographers, agencies, coaches. You know who you are. Join the Facebook group, come meet our people, and let's get growing together. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. It's been a pleasure to have the conversation with you today, and I look forward to seeing you inside the Idea Collective Small Business Incubator. See you next time.